All right, I'm putting you both on the spot here. Francesco, we'll start with you. Obviously, we can talk about expected lineups here. I'd rather go for a combined starting 11 from you. If you were to mix these two clubs together, the best starting 11 here, I mean, there are so many stars that could be on display here. What would be your combined 11 if you're looking at it?
I start. Okay, I don't have to go back and see the name. Okay, we have. I was. So I started with Magnan, to be honest, because I think he's the best, one of the top 3, 4 goalkeepers in Europe. So with all due respect, with Onana, which I really like, to be honest, but there is no competition here, in my opinion. Then if we go to the defense, actually I'm gonna switch Theo Hernandez on the left and Darmian on the right. I went with a 4-3-3, to be more compact, let's say, and to try to find a way between the 3-5-2 of Inter and the 4-2-3-1 of AC Milan. So I see, for example, Theo Hernandez being one of the best fullbacks we have in Serie A, so I have to put him in. And Darmian, I really like him. I think he's a very underrated player that, defensively speaking, has been crucial this season for Inter. He's coping the absence of Milan Skriniar. So
Yeah.
I think that we have to remember that. Milan Skriniar was one of the best, if not the best, Inter defender. He's not playing since January, basically. So we're talking about an incredible player, and Darmian basically make us forget about Skriniar. So we have to consider that. Then for the center backs, I opted for one for AC and one for Inter. So I went for Tomori and Bastoni. I think they are the two more complete ones. Also, Bastoni is a very good player when it comes to start an action, maybe a counter attack with a long ball to the midfield or to Lautaro or Lukaku. And Tomori, I really like him, so I really rate him as a very good defender. So I put him in. The most difficult one, let me say, was the midfielders, because I had to put out Tonali, which was really, really difficult, because I wanted to put Mkhitaryan in. I think Mkhitaryan has been the best player this season for Inter, by far. He's been crucial for Inter. He is one of probably the player that played most minutes between the midfielders, if I'm not mistaken. He started basically all the games in the last year, so it was fundamental for Inzaghi, especially because both Çalhanoğlu and Brozovic had some injuries, so Mkhitaryan was always there. So I had decided to put Mkhitaryan instead of Tonali, and then for me, Çalhanoğlu and Barella are the two key players for Inter, so they have to be in the top 11. Bennacer, crucial player for AC Milan, already said that before. He's going to be key player also in the semifinals because he's going to play in the same position of Çalhanoğlu. So it's going to be super, super important, his role in the semifinal, both legs. And then Leao, I mean, how can I explain that? Leao has to be there, of course, in the top 11. Leao has to be in the top 11. And between Lautaro, Lukaku, and Giroud, I opted for Lautaro because I think he's the best one of the top of the three.
Not great in the Champions League, though. I will say that, though. If you look at his statistics over
but
last
he scored the goal
years,
against Barcelona, and we wouldn't speak about Inter here if it wasn't for that goal. So one, but good one.
All right, let's get into it, Grella. Here, this is your combined 11 to compare with that one. Not too far away.
Very similar. So key point I want to make: Darmian, very underrated player. He's not a player that you're going to watch in moving forward here, and you're going to say, "Wow, he's incredible." But he does a lot of the simple things right, and I think he embodies what the team is. He's difficult to go around. He's responsible. You know what you're going to get week in and week out. He was benched for Dumfries. Still great attitude when he's asked, when he's called upon, and I think he's done a fantastic job. So that's number one. The rest of our back line is the same: Bastoni, Tomori, Theo Hernandez. Theo Hernandez, for me, the best left back in Europe at the moment. One of the best in the top three for sure. When you look at the midfield, where it was very difficult for me, Barella, Çalhanoğlu, I think, are staples in this combined 11. They're the two players with the most talent that can sort of give you things that are different, unlock defenses. They can give you box-to-box tackling. Tonali and Bennacer was a difficult one for me, but I went with Tonali just because I think he's done really well in the last 2 years in terms of really figuring out what he brings to the table, and that's picking up first balls, second balls, and giving it to other guys. Just very physical player. And then in the front was Leao and Lautaro Martinez. Martinez with the goal total of 23 throughout the season in all competitions. It's hard to leave someone like that on the bench. Leao speaks for himself. And then I was stuck between Mkhitaryan and Diaz, and I went with Diaz just because I think that last season he was not so great, but this season he made the difference in all the games against Napoli, where he was able to turn and sort of start the counterattacks. And he always, whether he's playing well or whether he's playing poorly, always brings the correct attitude. Unlike what CDK that we mentioned earlier. So he always brings the right application to the game. So this is the 11 I have. I didn't mention Magnan, but he's also a staple for me in this combined 11.
Love it. I love to see both of that.
You see, it's 50-50 here. I mean, we didn't speak before, me and Mike, and we basically opted for the same 11. Yeah, there is Tonali and Diaz. I put in Benacer and Mkhitaryan. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the same structure of the team. So as you can see, it's unpredictable what can happen in the semifinals.
Love to see that. Listen, great commitment from both of you right there. But we did that on purpose, Francesco, so that you wouldn't communicate and try to put the same 11. We did it on purpose. We wanted to see where your minds were taking you. Boys, this has been fantastic. I'm going to get to some of the comments because there's a lot of love for both of you out there. Vic saying Francesco is back, our Serie A expert. Applause to you for coming back as well. Grella and Francesco from Rafa Cardenas. Appreciate the love right there. Rafa jumping in and saying, just don't see them sustaining the form this season. Enjoy it while it lasts. That is to Napoli fans right there. They're going to be partying for the next months there, right there, Rafa. Come on, give me a break. Mir Safed, Rahman Abir jumping in. I'm just hoping as an AC Milan fan that we can get a top 4 finish in the league as Rafa Leao's contract seems to be on hold for that particular reason. By the way, we're going to win our 8th Champions League title. Francesco, I think you were talking about that. Rafa Leao contract being such an important one. Musto jumping in and saying Inter will win the derby. What happens if UEFA ban Juve from European competitions next season? Does it go to the club behind them in the competition? Francesco, come to you on that one there. What happens if Juve do end up losing their points right now?
I was hoping to avoid Juventus questions for this time, but seems it's impossible. But I think we'll go technically will be the 5th in the table to go to the Champions League in that case. But as I said many times, we have to wait and see what happens, because if the Champions League semifinals are unpredictable, don't talk about Italian justice system. So that's going to be even more unpredictable.
Ali A jumping in and saying AC Milan Champions League heritage right there. 7 times winners against 3 times winners. Vic jumping in and saying too much at stake for both of these teams. Roma can capitalize on a situation to leap into the top 4 surely. Inter will line up with the Milan derby in mind. Great to see that one right there. Nice one here for you saying, Mike, what a great recovery. Welcome back to the show after your technical difficulties right there. Vic appreciated your absence and then your reappearance. We love to see that one. And Ed saying, I don't think there are any more flares in stock in the city. The San Siro will be lit up for this tie. And I think that's a perfect way to finish